Military analyst Glenn Ignazio joins us now. Glenn, a retired major of the Air Force Special Operations. So it's always good to have you on the program, and that was a nice scene, right, to see these families being reunited after so much time following the 7th of October. But to Robert's point, it comes as these strikes and they're airstrikes for now, but this campaign in southern Gaza intensifies. Where do you expect this to go? Is that going to lead to ground troops, a ground invasion? If that's kind of the last big area or big city that Israel seems to be going after?
Yes, I would anticipate that the case. I mean, first of all, getting the two hostages out is great. Unfortunately, they also lost two IDF soldiers, so definitely a balance on that one. But as far as all this is going on from a military perspective, just bombing a particular facility or sites doesn't really do anything. It's the idea of occupying and rooting out where Hamas may be, and so you're going to have to put ground troops in that area to completely filter and wipe that out. The hard part is you have over 1 million people now compressed in Rafah, because that's where everybody from the IDF and all the support has pushed those people down there. So it's a very dangerous situation as we step into it, but I don't see how else it could be prosecuted appropriately without ground troops.
All right, let me talk about Rafah a little bit. We have it on our telestrator here, maps, if we bring them up, and we can take a look at what we're dealing with, because it brings up, to your point, Glenn, some of these issues. So these are the IDF troops in Gaza that you're looking at now, and you obviously see Rafah, which is down there at the bottom of the screen. So Rafah is right down in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. We go in a little bit closer to it. That's when you're talking about the borders here along the line. So this is the Egyptian border, obviously the border here that goes along with Israel. This is the other city that they've talked about, Khan Yunis, and then Rafah in the southern part of it. But then when you start looking from above, what the impact of this already has been, left side of your screen in October, right side of your screen in January, this is just the airstrikes that have had such an impact on this area, and now the death toll is doing nothing but going up. This is from the health ministry, which of course is run by Hamas, but they're putting some big numbers out. 27,947, they say, have been killed. So this idea, Glenn, that this is going to continue until when? I mean, what is the end game in this? Because I understand the military operations. You and I talk about it all the time, but you have human beings here, don't seem to have anywhere to go. Like, could they go north? I guess maybe. Could they go south? Probably not. Or could they go towards Egypt? Doesn't seem like it. So what's the end game? Where do you see this actually going? Because I don't see it. I don't see how it ends.
Yeah, great question. And is one of the things that Israel said was, hey, we want you to move now north, after they said move south to Rafah. But the difficult part and coordination within Gaza has been difficult, where as they've moved people, some of those areas or some of those routes have actually been struck by Israel. So that communication is really uncertain. The other thing is people are panicking now because that's occurred. Where do they go? Even outside of Gaza, something that's even bigger than this is, for 40, 50 years, there's been peace between Egypt and Israel. And Egypt is saying that they may suspend that whole agreement in the past under the Carter administration because they're afraid that the Palestinians may go and move into the Sinai by jumping over the border because they have nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. That would create incredible instability in the Middle East, just in that area as well. But from a humanitarian aid, it's disastrous. We said way back when this started in October that the longer that this goes, the worse it is for Israel and their face. Right. And that is definitely what's happening here.
One question, if I can, Glenn, on our response, the U.S. response to the 3 American service members who were killed and where we are in that process. It came up at the White House earlier with John Kirby, the National Security Council, about, is this campaign something that's over, sustained, going to keep going? Here's how the question and answer went with Kirby. Let's watch.
You had said the U.S. response to the killing of the 3 American service members in Jordan would be phased over some time, a few days. Is it safe to say that the U.S. response at this point is concluded, or is it still ongoing?
You have to wait and see.
You have to wait and see, he says. So what do you think? I mean, are we still in the middle of that? Think there's more coming from the U.S.?
I think there'll be more coming to definitely create and maintain a much forceful defensive posture to be preemptive striking these facilities before they attack U.S. troops. But I think with the King of Jordan being president in the White House is good because, again, Jordan's country was actually struck, not just our soldiers, unfortunately. So that's one thing. The other thing is that, if we can ask Iraq to protect the American soldiers as well, to pull some of these Iranian factions back, that would be beneficial. So a coalition would be stronger and better. But at the same time, we've always commented that there's not really a strategy that's been executed as far as how to engage or disengage. And even in these operations that are going on in Iraq and Syria, we have to have clear, definitive understanding of where we're going. And actually, the American people need to know, too. There's too much uncertainty.
All right, Major Glenn Ignacio, as always.